Thank you for joining the XROM podcast, India's first AR/VR MR podcast. Really appreciate this, Nikhil, you doing this for us. So, to my audience who don't know about you, little brief introduction. So, Nikhil Joshi is the co-founder of Digital Jalebi, a transdisciplinary studio that builds engaging, interactive AR/VR experiences. So, thank you, Nikhil, for being part of XROM podcast. So,
thank you, Adi.
Yeah, so can you start with a brief intro about you, how you got into virtual reality, and a little bit about your company, Digital Jalebi?
So I and my partner who run Digital Jalebi, we came out of a design school in 2012. Right. And when we were starting up, there were no companies working in the experimental media space, hardly any companies. And we just thought it would be an interesting idea to start like a freelancing practice for us to go out and explore how we can do experimental media projects, working with. There was no AR and VR at that time. There were just people were playing around with electronics and some amount of computer vision, just basic exploration. And interestingly, we got a really good feedback from the market in the first 2 years. We got a lot of projects, and we understood there's a huge potential of making this like a professional studio. And we kept on holding the opportunities, converting them, doing great projects. And over the years, we have grown from 2 to 42 people with offices in Delhi, Mumbai, Bangalore. Recently started working in Dubai also. And it's been a very, very interesting journey. There've been so much happening in the Indian market, new people coming in, new market segments coming to us and telling us what can be done in experiential media, that it's constantly evolving. Our understanding of experiential media and what opportunities are there constantly evolves every year with every client who comes to us with a new brief and frames us completely differently. So very, very exciting journey.
The startups who are having fun doing what they're doing will go a long way forward. So you said you're from a design studio. Do you have like a tech background? And it's really good that you started from 2 teams and then you've grown on to 42 people at this point in time. And you said that your understanding has been growing by building experiences. I guess that's the best way to go about it. You interact with clients and you build experiences which touch people, and that's the only way to go forward. So can you share with my audience some use cases that you have built along the years?
Okay, so talking about backgrounds, in an undergrad setting, I was a game developer. I used to program games, and luckily I was able to study new media design in my postgraduate, where I got exposure to understanding how to bridge technology and design, and that really paved the way of us doing all of this. To start with, very interesting 2-3 projects that I remember initially. I used to work with Jabong, and they were very, very interesting startup at that point of time. They were just getting into fashion. They were investing a lot of money how to promote fashion. They used to give us projects to highlight their work at the Lakme India Fashion Week, which used to happen in Mumbai. So very interesting brief of how you would highlight a fashion brand in a Lakme India Fashion Week setting. So we were able to do very creative work for them. We were able to create virtual ramp walks and stuff where people will come in. Everybody gets a chance to experience how they would look on a ramp, and everything then goes to a social media. So understanding that how clients are really looking for an ROI, which is content that is created by end users in an experiential setting, then goes to social media, and then they are able to connect the dots and see how the content is actually performing, how many people it is able to finally touch. In another setting, we were asked by Mumbai International Airport. This airport was just getting built. The T3 new terminal in 2014, it was getting built, and they asked us to build an interactive exhibit. It's called Jal Tarang. It's at the domestic departures 3rd floor, and it's like a huge water fountain. You can say there are many faucets. The water is coming out, and the brief was that people should be able to play music while they touch water. Mm-hmm. So every time you touch one of the faucets, the water coming from a stream, you get to hear sa, re, ga, ma, pa, dha, ni, sa. So it's like largely an instrument, and it became a hit, got us a lot of PR, very, very early days for us. Another Another project that I remember is working with DRDO. So DRDO came to us, and then in a completely different setting, they asked us that a lot of products that they sell, they can't carry them, and to many friendly nations where they want to display these products, they would want to create experiential walkthroughs using AR, VR, whatnot, what all technologies are available. So completely different market segments that taught us so much about these industries, completely different end users also. But yeah, very, very interesting. And that made us learn so many things about these market segments, the expectations from the client, and what serious, very profound, very impactful role immersive and experiential media has to play in Indian industry, whether it's fashion, whether it is defense, whether it is just real estate, retail of sorts, anything.
Right. Yeah. So yeah, immersive tech is growing so exponentially, and I guess we just discovering what it can do. It's such a nascent stage, but once it completely matures, the things that it can do is presently, I think, unfathomable for us. But I'm so happy that like a startup from India is doing these fantastic things. Because normally, you see these big brands. They wait to connect with like an international company because they have a lack of faith in Indian startups. But I'm really happy that with this platform I get to speak to so many entrepreneurs who are like pushing the paradigm, doing these really, really interesting things. You spoke about the Jal Tarang experience that you built for the T2. You spoke about the DRDO. So amongst all these experiences, can you point out what was the most challenging experience that a client came up with, or you thought, okay, that's not possible? And
recently, actually last year, we were working for a client. We're working with an agency and finally working for Amazon Prime, and they asked us to create this entire virtual world, which is Amazon Prime world, very, very tight. So the challenges of the project was that we had to exhibit, finally do an activation for several, like 22, 23 locations in India, and had to create a lot of content at the Amazon quality in a span of just 3 to 4 weeks. So we created this entire virtual world where you can go and shop and look for hundreds of Amazon products which were getting displayed on the Amazon Prime Day. So just before the Prime Day, they were building up curiosity to the end users, and these displays were put up in all the important malls across India. The most challenging part is it's easier to design, but for a design company or an experiential studio to work like a really good software company, to structure out things, at the same time being creative, and at the same time working under these very, very tight timelines, very, very difficult. So for you to take care of your code base, use all the best practices of information technology company management, client servicing, and then simultaneously be super creative, be wild, do a lot of brainstorming, keep innovating, and at the end of the day do all of this in super, super difficult timelines, which is like unrealistic timelines, like 3 weeks, which generally happens in India. So when I started the project, I never thought we would be able to deliver the project. And looking at the kind of feedback and the expectation from the end client, Amazon, it's very, very difficult project. Like literally, we made those 3 weeks look like 7-8 weeks. The way we worked, we were so overworked. We didn't sleep for so many days, but it worked out fine. I think that's the learning. There's this fine line between being creative and being super professional. I think any experiential studio, not just create, has to really learn how to be very proficient in structuring their teams, how they work, and being very, very creative with their processes, with how they approach a problem, because all of this gonna come together in a very short span of time where they have to finally go and deliver this. So that was a huge learning, also huge challenge that I've faced over the years, because the expectations were really high. Like for an Amazon to launch their Prime Day events across India simultaneously, thousands of people experiencing it, there's no chance for you to go wrong. even every product needs to be super detailed. Everything needs to be correct. There's no chance for you to fumble or something to not work. So a lot of pressure. You have to learn how to handle these pressures.
Yeah, so with these nascent technology, the downside about these nascent technology is the over expectation, because people expect something which is at times possibly just not possible, because I guess the media has to be blamed, because they have painted this picture about exponential technology, or maybe AR, VR, MR as that technology which can do the impossible. So yes, the clients come with at times unreasonable requests, but it's nice that you've pulled up some amazing stuff. So tell me, how difficult has been the hiring process of getting the right talent?
It's actually very difficult. There is no, I would say, since I got an opportunity to talk to you, especially in experiential media, there's no hiring process. There is actually only mentoring and grooming process. So you pick up a person who you think could work out in over a couple of years, and you groom him. There's no chance. So we hire from a lot of engineering colleges. We belong to design college. We hire and we know so many people out of design colleges. And because of our exposure to these places, we know exactly that these people are not fit for experiential media. But you go out and look for people who have some potential. Maybe they are open to exploration and learning, and then you invest a couple of years into them. And that's what has happened at Digital Jalebi. Over the years, we have seen the most talented teammates that I had are the ones which we picked up. So to give you an example, there's a person in my company, in my team, who was an electrical engineer. We picked him up, a super talented guy, always eager to learn. And over the years, he became a 3D expert, and now he sort of runs everything to do with our real-time visualizations and 3D. So I think it's more important to get an idea of what the potential of the person is and then groom him, rather than directly looking to hire. In experiential media, there is no college, there's no course that is ideally training people to handle the situation. Even a design college, it teaches you very conceptually what immersive media would be, what experiential media would be, but they don't understand the day-to-day challenges of how to work with clients, what exactly. So you could be brilliant at research and design, but in 3 weeks, let's see what you can pull off. You have to deliver a complete project. So your research is 6 hours, and then your design is 3 days, and then you completely jump onto the development 2 weeks, and then you have to deliver in the last 4 days. So nobody in India is trained to deal with such situations right now. We have to groom them over the years, and that's the only way to get talented people in your team.
Right. I double that, because I personally have been vested in this space since early 2016. So in early 2016, I discovered what virtual reality is, because I have an audio studio, video studio. I create content for advertising agencies, production houses, and things like that. So one of my clients approached me and said, Eddie, can you build some VR content? That's when I discovered what VR is. And they wanted to do something this was the world's first interactive travel app. And they wanted us to shoot something stereoscopic VR. Back then, early 2016, I think there was just a handful of companies who were doing stereoscopic VR, and they wanted us to do moving shot using a robotic dolly, and at that point in time, it was quite unfathomable. In India, nobody was doing something like difficult. That. So and it was super expensive. So me and I started a couple of people. I built an 18 camera rig at that point in time. We built our own robotic dolly, and we shot this project. And I also directed, produced India's first stereoscopic VR horror short film. So yes, you rightfully said. I mean, that the best way to go about getting a correct team is to mentor and groom them. You see somebody who's got potential, and you push them, and you shape them up into this person who can be a great value to your team.
Give them the right tools at the right time, and if they are really if they are an explorer at heart, they will learn all of this. They will go create their own rigs and then shoot and come back and then edit and go back and again shoot. That's the only way. There's no other shortcut in experiential media. Everything is so new to us. Every third month we are in front of a new technology, and in India we are challenged by resources also. You're exporting stuff, you get hold of only 60-70% of what you need, and then you figure out other things. So you have to be a DIY person at heart be able to work in this in our market segment. You can't just sit on your laptop and just think that things will work out. No, it won't.
Yeah, so everything is jugadu at this point in time. So yeah, we as a startup, I mean, we make do with, I mean, you know, the most minimalistic resources, you know, and because like you said, I mean, it's in such a nascent stage, you have to make do. So to my listeners who want to connect with like-minded startups, get jobs and stuff like that, please log on to www.xrom.in. I have a special column where you can, if you seek for jobs, you can add your details and stuff like that. So you can do that, right? So Nikhil, tell me, COVID-19, you know, for the last 2.5, 3 months, we've all been stuck to our homes. So you build experiential content, you know, largely for events. So that side is going to get impacted. What are you, how do you see the impact of COVID-19? I'm sure there's so many positives of COVID-19, and specifically because of immersive tech, but because you're in the experiential space, there are a few negatives. How you look forward to tackling that?
I think if we look at the impact of COVID-19 on a macro perspective, it's the behavioral shift that is going to happen. So people not opting to go out in spaces and exploring spaces would really hurt a lot of business that was spaces bound, which is events, any kind of museums, experience center, experiential stuff which was happening in spaces. The good part is people are realizing the potential of digital, sitting at their homes, looking at their computers. They're trying to understand. These people were shying away from basic learning curves of, say, playing a game, using their phones, using their webcams to do certain type of interactions. All of them are now able to sit back and learn all those things. So there's a huge potential for experiential people to move their content to web and to move their content to devices that are already available to these masses, which is phones, laptops, desktop computers. I think we've seen that as an opportunity in last 2 months. And what we are trying to do right now is to push a lot of content, experiential media content that we were creating for events into virtual events. A virtual event would be like a space that you create on the web, in a website. You can just log in, and then how you can create something where people can still relate to a space, like a game setting. You have a 3D space where you can move in. You have a lobby. There are exhibits placed. There is this auditorium that you can enter. At the Audi, there are choices for you to look at a live stream, ask questions. Also, people who are participating in the conference could be visualized an avatar. So you can go, if Eddie is roaming around in the 3D scene, I can go and ask Eddie if we both can chat, share contacts, go into a live video calling at that moment. There's so much of potential that clients and developers like us are exploring right now, that this would become a very pivotal point in the age of digital media, where there was this organic growth that was happening. Now there is this very quick, inorganic, super fast growth that is going to happen, where everybody is focusing how to build experiences for your web. That's going to happen in retail. That's going to happen in any defense market. If you look at us, we are getting so many requirements where a company comes to us, a leather bag company comes to us and says, we want to push our entire retail store because there's no point investing in physical retail now, to virtual. How you can create a web experience where our clients are able to get as close to a touch and feel experience. Obviously, it won't be a touch and feel experience, but what in web is available that can really help us take them to the next level. Another interesting thing in experiential media is with websites and WebGL and all these technologies becoming super powerful, is for you to build a website and send people a VR headset, people using their mobile phones. So a single website could become a desktop experience. It could become an AR experience, and it can also become a VR experience. So it will cut through mediums give you a chance to experience things in AR, the things that are meant for. So to give you an example, say uh, if I create a consumer electronics showroom, what if I allow you to look through a website with a gamut of services that are available or products that are available from that manufacturer, and then you choose one of the products to be visualized in AR, and then you want to also visualize that product in a different setting, maybe your home setting or a bedroom setting. So using an AR at the right time is now possible. Using a VR at the right time is now possible. Just using the same website, using your mobile phone. The brands are now opting to send these people with basic VR headsets that they can use at their home. So all of this is possible because brands are now open at exploring the true potential of digital, which was not happening because you always had this physical idea of physical spaces where you can call in people. Also, everything has gone beyond geography. So there is no, what used to happen in our businesses, we were very strongly geography bound. So I sit in North India. My other team sits in South India. So a lot of clients were gravitated just towards the team that is geography bound. So you will only get projects that are based out of North India or South India. Now we are getting projects from all over the world. We are getting projects from Brazil, from Singapore, from Australia, and the countries which we haven't heard about in Africa, because when you're sitting on web, there's no idea of geography. So that's so interesting for a studio sitting in India to learn how to work with, how to handle requirements, brief, apprehensions of customers who are sitting across the world. That helps us grow at a much faster rate, both in terms of business, both in terms of our maturity to tackle design problems. So there's so many opportunities that I can see now because of the COVID. This is like a reset button for industry, and everybody has come onto the same level. We right now can challenge and take the business away from even one of the biggest agencies in India, because at digital we are as good as any of these big agencies who are sitting around for last 30 years. And digital is like our playground, and we're very good at it. This entire idea, this knack that we have developed over the years to quickly learn stuff, build things, test them out, quickly deploy them. It's very difficult. I'm now realizing when I work with these agencies who are trying to learn digital so quickly over the last 2 months, that's so difficult for them to transform their teams into digital and learn what we have learned. Now I appreciate what we have done here over the years because the market has completely changed.
Yes, somehow this natural disaster has accelerated frontier technology. You can now challenge some of the biggest agencies in the world because you have got the first movers advantage. You are ahead of the curve. And I believe that the world is changing largely because of COVID-19. Everything that has been creeping so far in a creeping mechanism, slow and easy, has been accelerated because of technology.
Correct.
I mean, because of
Correct.
COVID-19, suddenly people have opening up the eyes and seeing the importance of the digital world. I stay at Bombay, Wadala. My office is in Santa Cruz. I take 1 hour to travel or more because of Bombay's traffic, right? And then I've suddenly realized, I've been saying this all the while, that virtual reality will make geography history, right? But now I'm realizing the importance because I'm not actually traveling. I'm sitting at home, but I'm doing more work that I've been doing when I used to actually travel. I'm more productive out of home. And yes, this world it's made things so dynamic that even a small startup can disrupt the largest tech behemoth in the world, because it's created this open market, open space, and with technology, you just need a small team. That has always been the case. If you go, right from your Google to your Facebook to your Amazon, the biggest companies in the world, they started so small and they have transformed the world. So yes, I think we're living in.
I think the interesting part is everybody now realizes that everybody is sitting at home and they all have one laptop. So everybody gets a fair chance. And people who know how to run their laptops better, like us technologists and designers, would obviously get an edge. more than any other marketeer or agency, because the technology at right now, an agency which is sitting there for 30 years would have a good experience of say 7-8 years working with technology. But for a younger studio like us, 8 years of experience could be counted as 20. The kind and the level at which we experiment with technology, how quickly we can build stuff, come up with solutions, like this is very exciting for me to even see my team. This is the first product that Digital Jalebi has built. We've built this virtual event product. Very interesting to see how we were able to quickly completely change the platforms we work in. We never worked on something related to web. It's just that we had this exposure and knack of quickly learning stuff and a lot of experience knowing what needs to be built in an experiential setting. I think all of that came in quickly. We all put it together and quickly build a product out of it. I think it's so difficult for larger companies to be agile, to quickly put up things, to take decisions, build stuff, iterate on it. I think it takes them years to be able to do that, and that's that's not a barrier for smaller companies. That's not at all a barrier. And now clients realize they really want this agile stuff. They really want companies to quickly come back to them with solutions, because everybody's stuck now. And they need smaller agencies, smaller companies like us to come and resolve their issues, more than waiting for a larger agency to give them a super big bill and then take an year to build a solution for them. That's not going to happen. Nobody has an appetite for that right now.
Right. I think the world is changing, and I think they are opening their eyes to this current world, this new world. I have been spending from 2016, I've been screaming at the top of my lungs at these conferences and, to my friends that the traditional legacy industry is going to collapse. Things are going to change. We are at the cusp of the fourth industrial revolution. We need to adapt technology and move ahead. But we don't take change easily, right? And that's the reason. I mean, you see, most of these traditional companies, I believe they're going to fall down, and there's going to be the new normal is going to be the new startups, the new agile companies who are definitely going to take over. You were talking about your virtual event product. I've been talking to a couple of people. Like recently, I spoke to Lauren Chrétien from Laval Virtual, who had to move their physical event onto the virtual platform. They used the Virbila platform, and somewhere around 13,000 people attended the event over the 3-day event. I just spoke to Pradeep recently, Pradeep Khanna from VRARA. They have moved their summit to the virtual reality platform. So please talk about the product that you're building.
I think the idea and inspiration for us, the product is called DJ Expo, is to create a virtual space. It's not a webinar platform. It goes completely beyond the idea of live streaming, which generally is. So right now, the perception of industry is that a virtual event would be a live stream where you can enter and then you get a 2-dimensional interface, and then you can all the basic chat and stuff option. What we're doing is we have taken inspiration from the real world. Say if you want to create a space exactly the way agencies used to develop this entire lobby, a lot of branding, very, very massive screens, digital branding going on everywhere you look. So you're able to create a 3D space. Once you open the website, just like a game, you are able to stroll through the entire space. And just like the real world, whatever looks good to your eye, you can move towards there. So I can go towards the social media zone. I can go towards the gaming zone, the product display zone, the smaller games and engagements that are developed, or I can move towards an audio or stall area. So the idea of occupying spaces, one. Second is to be able for people who are moving around the space to simultaneously see each other and express. So every time you enter the website, you are able to create your own avatar, and your avatar is moving in real time in the space. So I see Eddie's avatar, Eddie is able to see me in the virtual event setting, and both of us can choose to chat with each other, share contacts and stuff. I'll tell you something very interesting. What I've realized in a physical event, what we used to do is to go into an event, come out in the breakout time and stuff in the lobby, and get hold of a couple of people, at max 5 to 7 people, whom we actually were able to interact in a general event, a day long event, and then attend all the keynote conferences and stuff. But in digital, the beautiful part is, say Eddie is from experiential immersive background. What I can do is, while I am looking at all these people roaming around in the 3D world, I can use some filters to filter out from the tags that were chosen while you were registering as a user. So when I were registering for this website, I were able to choose tags like technology, VR development, AR development stuff. So now technology is truly going beyond physical space, and it's allowing me to filter and see only 15 people who are of my interest, and out of those I can further choose some other filters to come down to 5 whom I want to talk to. Then also there is no barrier, there is no idea of space and time now. So even if I'm interested in 50 odd people, I can quickly share and exchange contacts with them, even beyond the event, even after the event. There are possibilities of scheduling a call after the event. There is also such a good opportunity. So if I keep on talking with Eddie and both I and Eddie miss out on the important keynote, I can always go back and look at that keynote. It's not going anywhere. And sending out questions to the organizers, them answering it beyond the event, getting all the, so whenever I enter this event, everybody has basic questions that they want to answer. Where is this particular keynote happening? When is the X guy coming? Where is the Y company stall? All of that will be answered by an automated chatbot. So the chatbot has all the information about the event. You go out, speak to him. He will lead you to the correct stall, to the correct piece of information. So, on a virtual platform, strolling through the spaces, playing games, building content for social media. I think everything's going to completely change. My clients are coming up with such interesting ideas when they look at such platforms. It will. There's so many things that are bad about working in virtual, sitting at your home, just looking at a website. But there's so many brilliant things that marketeers, end customers are realizing about the virtual platforms. That what will happen is, even if when the COVID situation will be resolved, maybe towards the end of this year, we will all the clients, all the agencies will go for a hybrid strategy where they will host smaller physical events and then have a massive virtual event where they can invite people beyond geographies. So they can just go for 100-200 people physical event and then host a virtual event for 1,000 people, balancing both the things.
You were mentioning earlier that we've been confined at a home and with a computer, but what we are where we are going, I think the computer phones are going to converge into a single wearable device, and I am looking forward to that future where we get a glasses, and then maybe possibly we move on to a lens, and the future looks super exciting. Yes, there are these ethical and moral implications which are going to arise. I mean, yes, obviously when you're collecting so much data, those are conversations which need to be tackled. And I believe that maybe because the tech is growing, you can use your converging technology like blockchain and make sure that the data security is built in right from the beginning. Because I see that there's this huge opportunity over here, like you rightfully said. I mean, that going forward, that could be a hybrid model. Maybe the smaller event could be packaged into like 100, 200 could be live or physical, but the larger event could be done maybe, why 1,000? That could be 10,000, millions of people attending globally. So the virtual world is opening up, and we're sitting in such a beautiful opportunity. And I guess people need to realize that AR, VR, MR, artificial intelligence, blockchain, IoT, all of these technologies, if we leverage properly, it could just transform mankind. It's just that we need to make sure that what we choose, we need to put in the security, privacy issues built in right from the conversations, right from the beginning, because we don't want to have a situation like what Facebook did. I mean, Facebook started from a DOM, but it went ahead and it actually manipulated the entire American election. And that's that's the potential of technology. And with artificial intelligence growing, there's so much one can do. And the responsibility lies in people like us to make sure that we we give the people the right choice, and if we are taking their data, we use it correctly, because this is the world that we create. It really depends upon the choice that we make. I firmly believe that I think your computers and your phones, it's just a matter of maybe 7 to 10 years. It's going to die out, and those two devices are going to converge into a one single wearable headgear. And Apple, Facebook, Microsoft, Sony, Samsung, they're already working on building that kind of device. And I believe, and I firmly believe, that the biggest dent will be made by a small startup who we have not heard of at this point in time, because they are the ones, like you said, they are agile, and they don't have to wait for 10 layer of okay, we can do this and we cannot do that. I think you've taken all the incremental and right steps to come over here from a service to a product startup. We wish you the very best for it, because I think your product that you're building is super exciting, and it has the potential to change the entire dynamic of not just India, but the global event industry, experiential industry. So tell me, what does the future hold for you, and what comes next for Digital Jalebi?
I think right now we are focusing at understanding what exactly are people looking at. So we are, apart from this virtual event, we are working on a product for retail industry. So if you have a store, you have a physical store, and you want me to build an experiential store for yourself on a website or on a web level, how you can quickly transform your physical inventory into digital inventory. What all technologies can we use? Can we use photogrammetry to quickly shoot all your products, put them on web, so that there is what closest experience can we build to and touch feel experience, how it could be experiential, how people can engage with a product beyond Amazon type experience, which is like a 2D flat experience looking at images and stuff. So a retail product is under production. Then we are working at another product for experiential activities for healthcare. There's so much. So we once built, we were working for UNICEF at some point of time, couple of years back, where we built a yoga experience out of Kinect. So you were able to perform several, it was a gamified experience. We asked you to perform a particular yoga step. Once you do that, you get a certain amount of points, you move on to the next step. But what we realized is, because of all the new fancy technologies that are available, you can do all sorts of gesture posture recognition sitting on your laptop using your webcam. We're developing many games for people who are at their homes on how they can maintain their health, how they can perform interesting activities, whether they're doing their some facial exercises, whether they have building a game where they have to laugh at certain intervals, or performing yoga. Because we see so much of potential when we develop things. So over the years, we've been developing things for super exclusive hardware, which is niche hardware, which was AR, VR stuff, which was only bound to premium spaces. An event which is happening, we put up really cool hardware, people come and experience it. But this now it's completely upside down. For us to build products for hardware that is available at your home, a basic laptop, a basic mobile phone. So constantly, and we are identifying industries to build these several products and see what is the potential, how industry takes it up. Very exciting, very, very super exciting times for us to use all our knowledge that we have learned and just taking care of simple building stuff for simple hardware, and but going for masses. We never worked for masses. I think the complete idea of experiential media industry, events industry here in India has been for say a couple of thousand people at max, but working for like 100,000 people when you roll out a web solution. Very interesting to see how people use it. How do you balance all the design decisions that you take? So yeah.
Lovely.
Yeah, that's where we are headed.
Lovely. Super, Nikhil. It was a pleasure chatting with you and understanding what you're building, your insights on the AR/VR space. And I personally believe that I think we are at the right moment in time, that point in time where things are going to go really blow up for the immersive tech space, and so wish you the very best for your product and everything that you do. And to my listeners, if you like what you see, please press the subscribe button. Until next time, see you guys. Bye-bye. Thank you. Thank you, Nikhil.
Thank you, Eddie.